Another week, another city. Let's unpack London. All right, so 2 days in London. I know this is not an ideal way to see this city. You could probably spend months here, but here's an itinerary if you're short on time or want to see London in a weekend trip. All right, so let's get into it because there's so much you can see here. So day one, fly from wherever you are to London in the morning. Then take the train to the city. Once you get to the city, go to your Airbnb, hostel, hotel, wherever you're staying, and get settled in and just get your bearings together. After you're settled, head on over to the Borough Market and spend the late morning here touring around and seeing all of what this place has to offer. Get lunch here. There's so many great places to eat in the Borough Market. There's food, arts and crafts, just everything here. You won't get bored while staying here. Once you're done here, head on over to the Tube and take the Tube to a football game. You can see any of the London teams play, but I highly recommend experiencing a game in London. The football culture is so rich and the fans are so passionate about their teams. When I was here, we went to a Queen's Park Rangers game, which is about a 20-minute tube ride outside of London. It's a smaller team, but it still provided a great atmosphere and a good look into the football culture in London. So we saw the game, then we headed on back to the city in the late afternoon, and we went to a fish and chips restaurant called Golden Union for dinner. A great fish and chips place, one of the best in the city. So I highly recommend visiting here for dinner any of the nights that you are in London. So we got fish and chips, and then we toured around the city in the evening, and we're able to see a little bit of London at night. Then we headed back to our hostel and spent the night there to conclude day one. So make sure to get up super early and enjoy a full English breakfast in the morning. We went to the Breakfast Club, a great spot right near our hostel. It was a great environment there. We had a great breakfast to get ready for the day. After that, we went to Tower Bridge, checked that out for a little, and then we walked over to the London Eye. It's a long walk, but it's a good way to see some of the city. So we saw the London Eye and then walked across and saw Big Ben, and then went over to Buckingham Palace and saw the guards out front. Just spent a little bit of time there. Then went over to Westminster Abbey. And after we were done seeing that, then we got afternoon tea in the afternoon. I highly recommend doing this. It's a great way to relax after a busy morning and just chill for a little bit in the afternoon. So after we finished up at afternoon tea, we toured around a little bit more, and then we went to a Sunday roast. This is a must-do when you're in London if you're there on a Sunday. It's a great feast. Go there in the late afternoon and get a big dinner here. It's one of their most famous traditions, so I highly recommend you participate in it. We went to a place called the Hawks Moor. This is a really cool restaurant, and definitely recommend checking it out if you want to do this. So after we finished our Sunday roast, then we saw a little bit more of the city in the late afternoon, early evening, and we just walked around a little bit before the end of day two. So after we finished up walking around, we went back to our hostel late at night and went to bed to conclude the trip. And then we were up early the next morning and flew back to our base in Europe. So I know it's a lot in just 2 days, but if you're short on time, it's a great way to see a lot of London in a short period of time. I know it's not the most ideal way to see London, but it's a great way to kind of get a taste of the different parts of this amazing city and see a lot in 2 days and really get a good feel for what the culture is like in London. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, next week we'll be doing another location, so stay tuned and make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.